Hello, Peggy Beckett here, and today we have our second session in Wealth and Health. We're going to start out with the nervous system. And the reason I chose that is because that is the system that is first formated when a new baby is being created. The nervous system is what guides all of our body's actions, and it begins with the brain. Now, the brain is an advanced, superior computer created long ago, and it synchronizes and organizes and causes all of the actions of the body to take place. Now, the brain itself looks pretty much like a big old prune. It has wrinkles, it's gray instead of brown, and it's slick. And the brain sits on top of this medulla, which connects to the skull at the base of your neck in the back. But the brain itself floats free within the skull. It is not attached to the skull. It's a free-floating organ. Now, the reason this is important is that it's very easy, especially in younger years, to bruise the brain. So let's talk a little bit about the brain itself. I told you what it looks like and where it is. The brain is made up of tiny, tiny cells called neurons. Now, these cells, they float free within the brain itself. If you can see here, you can see these little neurons, and at the end of each one, there's things like hairs coming out. Well, these hairs actually float in cellular fluid within the brain. And as they wave at each other, they transmit signals, which, of course, reach out and cause actions within the body. You are sitting here watching me right now. Your brain has over 200 billion neurons, and these neurons are fast at work. They do not rest except maybe when you lay down at night, and even then they have work to do. Some of them give what we call voluntary influence or voluntary signals. This is when you think, I want to pick up these glasses, or when you think, I'm getting up out of a chair and walking. You are unconsciously giving voluntary influence to your nerves. The other part of these little neurons' work is called involuntary. Now, that's the signals that go out through the body and tell your organs to function. You don't have to sit here and say, breathe. You don't even pay attention to your heartbeat, and it goes on. So these are the things that it sends. Part of this 200 billion workforce is sending out signals constantly for you to function. As this goes about, your body reacts. As I said, the nervous system is a closed system. That means that normally there is no access to it. I'm going to show you my friend, Mr. Bones here. If you will look, all of these yellow lines are nerves. Now, the nerves come off of the spinal cord. They start at the back of the skull. We can turn him around. And they come off the skull, and they are going between the vertebrae, if you look. They travel down to the very end of the foot. And this is important. Later we will talk, because if you see all these nerves come down and they come together here at the heel, there you can see a better picture. Because those nerves run between the vertebrae like that, they are supposed to be protected, but the little discs made up of cartilage between each vertebrae seem to wear, and sometimes with blunt injury, Sometimes just age makes them dry or brittle, and sometimes they slip out of place. That's called a slip disc. But when it slips, remember all those yellow lines running out of the body. When that disc slips out, it pinches that nerve. That's where we get the term pinched nerve. It's very painful. When that happens, you've got to get that disc off of the nerve. If it continues to pinch, it will cause severe damage. And once nerves are permanently damaged, they are not likely to grow back. And whatever area they service will be numb. So you don't want that to happen. A lot of times, muscle massage, heat, ice will treat these slip discs and treat the muscle. Remember, you're wanting that muscle to pull that disc back in line. If it can't be handled with massage, with local medicine, and these kinds of things, then sometimes you end up with back surgery. Sadly, back surgery, once it's begun, never ends, because you're always creating another area where there's pressure on the nerves. So you want to avoid that if possible. Now, at the base of the skull, right here, is where all of these nerves from the brain come together. So one of the things you want to protect in your everyday activities is getting hurt in the back of the neck. You don't want pressure to occur back there. When we're looking at how the nerves travel to all the organs, we want to make sure that there's a clear path, that there's not anything pinched off, that there's not any pressure that would cause them to not function. Now, the name for nerve pain and nerve injury is neuropathy. That simply means disease of the nerves. And neuropathy is very, very painful. Most often it's seen in the feet because that's where, of course, the end of the nerve is. And as it has problems, you can have problems from the lower back that are actually going to cause your feet to hurt. So neuropathy is a painful condition resulting in damage to the nerves coming off the spinal cord. What do you do about this? And what's the role of essential oils in all of this? Well, there are essential oils that specifically target nerves. There are those that really have an impact on nerve healing and sometimes even gaining strength again. So you want to try these oils. I would before I would look at surgery or some of these other drastic measures. I did. I had a nerve that was cut when I had open heart surgery. They pulled the largest vein that exists in my leg, and when they did, they bruised the sciatic nerve. Well, for 6 months, my leg was numb from the knee to the ankle where they took that vein. After 6 months, it began to try to knit back, the nerve did, and it was very, very painful. So I did some research myself. I started looking up essential oils and what they do. I wanted to see if there was any help for me from a topical viewpoint. So I found that if I did a mixture of frankincense, now I like clove. A lot of people will not tell you clove immediately for a condition because it's known as a toothache. And it is. It's in all toothache medicines. But the reason it's there is because it is a topical analgesic, which means it kills pain. So I decided I wanted clove. And then, of course, frankincense is called the king of all oils. Frankincense is especially sensitive with nerves. So I would put several drops of frankincense, of clove. I used lavender, and I used cypress because cypress says it's good for circulation. Well, I would mix all of these together. My granddaughter helped me. She liked to mix things up in a coconut oil base and massage my leg. I did that every morning and every evening for months. First of all, I did it because it felt good. It was immediate relief because of the clove numbing things. And then over time, it began to actually feel better. The numbness started going away, and I started getting feeling and function back in my right leg. That made me a believer in essential oils. Another thing that we have is Deep Blue. Now, it's made up of a conglomeration of oils, menthol and frankincense and some of these others, made to attack nerve pain. When you put it on site, you get immediate relief, but if you use it continuously over time, you're going to get some permanent relief. The thing about essential oils, if you're using them, is that if you're looking for smack relief and you want a miracle that's going to just make you feel perfect after you apply it, you're looking in the wrong area. Essential oils work best when they're combined, when they're layered, which means you use one and then another and another on the area, and you use a circular, soft massage to work it in. If you do that, and if you stick with it and continually use the oil combination that you choose, I can guarantee you're going to gain use and a relief from pain in whatever area you're looking at. Now, the lower back is an area that is most often painful for people. And the reason is we tend to strain that lower back and put extra push on those nerves that are coming out of the lower back. And as we do that, we end up with painful emission from the lower back. Again, if you use some of these oils, massage them in with a soft circular motion, it's going to relieve the muscle spasm first. And over time, you're going to relieve the nerve pain. Today's session has been the nervous system. I hope it helped you get a basic understanding of how the nerves come off the brain and how they reach the different parts of the body. One other thing is I told you they terminated in the heel. This was news for me. I'm a nurse, been a nurse for 50 years, and I never paid attention to where all the nerves end. They end right there by your heel. Why am I telling you that? Because if you want to put lavender or frankincense or clove or something that you would like to reach the whole nervous system, put it on the bottom of your foot. Massage it in to your heel and arch, and you will find that it reaches out to the entire nervous system. That's what we have to do today, and I hope you will listen. I hope some of this will be helpful for you, and I look forward to talking to you again next month as we look towards gaining a wealth in health. Thank you.